Well, welcome back to Zero Tree Delta. If you didn't notice by the intro, I had a few issues with camera logistics again, but I did get enough interesting footage for another quick upload here. My BFR was recently coming due, and scheduled reviews aside, it is good to get out and practice some of those private pilot maneuvers once in a while, just to keep yourself sharp. We're used to thinking of the Bonanza as a fast traveling platform, but it can also go slow. A lot slower than you'd think, actually, especially when under gross weight. For a wing that was designed in the days of slide rules and paper, it performs amazingly well. It can sometimes be hard to grab exactly what that stall speed is. Your eyes are typically more outside the cockpit than in during this maneuver, but debrief videos or things like avionics data logs can really help to pin it down. So we've already got our gear down and flaps down, and we're bringing the power back, bringing the speed back. You'll actually see the stall warning indicator pop out in the lower left here shortly as we hit 52 knots. We'll keep slowing it down a little bit more, coming through 48, that's actually book speed. And keep slowing it on down. And we'll come up here on about 45 knots, and you'll see the brake right there. Here's another few of the things as well. I did leave the wind noise going in the background. It's actually kind of interesting to listen to it die down as we slow the plane down. It just gives another view into slow flight and stalls that we don't typically get. You'll see a fair amount of chatter about the stall characteristics of the Bonanza, but I'd say it's more about power on or departure stalls than the power off or approach stall that we're seeing here. Power on stalls could obviously be a bit more sporty of the Bonanza, but I'd say that's more a result of the high power available more so than anything else. My Bonanza does have aftermarket vortex generators installed, which do keep the airflow attached to the wing at slower speeds. According to the manufacturer, it's supposed to lower the stall speed by about 4 miles an hour or 3 knots. If we take a look at the performance tables, we can see that at my weights that day, it's expected to stall at 48 knots. We ended up seeing 45, which does line up with the manufacturer's expectations after adding those vortex generators. Interestingly enough, if you look at the tables for the venerable 172, they book out at about 44 knots at gross weight, which really isn't that far off. And if you look at the mighty 150, they list at 48 miles an hour or 42 knots. Again, that's at gross, but the payload range for a 150 is fairly narrow. For a machine that will cruise at 165 knots, it'll slow down to nearly the same realm as the classic Cessna trainer airframes. That translates to final approach speeds and landing distances as well. 1.3 times VSO is just under 59 knots. So at most weights, we're looking at right around 60 knots on finals, which is much slower than you'd normally think for this airframe. So that's all for today. Hopefully it'll shed some light on the other side of the flight envelope. Get out and see what your airframe actually does compared to the book, and share what you find. And subscribe for more videos on the way. Catch you later.